Co-host, hear me now. This is reality with partiality. Together with my co-host,
Ivan Williams.
you know, co-host, this is a relevant platform for individuals to control their own narrative and define themselves instead of leaving room for others who don't have their best interests at heart, who then misrepresent who they are. Reality with partiality does not believe in a hierarchical structure where society discriminates by looking up to some while looking down on others. For you to look up to someone is to overcompensate, you see, and not see that person's truth and reality. And in looking down on another, you're forming a conclusion likened to writing that person off, which is wrong. For as long as a person lives, she has the awesome possibility of becoming the very best version of him or herself. I have dubbed partiality, meaning one of a kind. Now, of course, you know I'm apolitical and irreligious. That is my brand. I neither identify with a political party nor a religious organization, although I associate with all without discrimination, without getting entangled. Belize is in a situation where there is a vacuum for leadership. Leaders are not born, they emerge. Therefore, will be people who, when they come on this show and make their 15-minute uninterrupted presentation to the country and world by extension, are able to catapult into becoming the true and natural leaders here in Belize, able to replace the placeholders, given opportunity. Co-hosts, you and I are not moderators, for we are not judging people in competition. You are a labor consultant who is second to none in this country, and similarly, and perhaps in the world. Similarly, I am a life transformation coach. We are both here using the question and answer period of our show for our guests to perhaps clarify things they said, elaborate, repeat, or emphasize. Our guests have the right to render their opinions, no matter how strong. And for the record, today we are graced with a gentleman who is backstage organizing himself, and we are in a quick minute, namely Cyril Uruwei, who, like everyone else, comes without a ceiling, and so is able to grow and expand limitlessly. Whereas he can only influence the environment, he has 100% control over himself, his body, energy system, thought, and emotion. Able to make all his emotions sweet so everyone falls in love with him. Able to care for others without getting down on himself. Cyril Uruwei! Hey, you are an individual, and as such indivisible. One time, you're a man devoted to spirituality, one who is fortified and consecrated, so only you can stand in your way. Cyril Uruwei, welcome to Reality with Partiality. Go right ahead, my brother, and make your uninterrupted presentation.
Percy, good morning. Ivan, good morning, my brothers. Greetings. Good morning to your viewers, to everyone from Dangriga, whoever you are. I greet you from Dangriga. Greetings to all of you. Biti Benafi Mabiga Honsumut to all the Garina go out there. My name is Cyril Uruwei. I'll give my government name for those who don't know me. I come from the Garcia family. My name is Cyril Garcia. Um, I want to add, while I have this opportunity, that the name Uruwei, it means leader or king. In English, it's a Garifuna word. Um, Thank you both for this platform. I was saying in the beginning that it's great that we have a platform such as yours where individuals like myself can come and share about ourselves, share about our journey, and inspire others as well. So I want to thank you both for this platform. I've been enjoying the interviews you've been doing. As mentioned, born Cyril Garcia, the name Cyril Uruwei has stuck. I adopted Uruwei after I got to a point in my life where I started identifying myself as a Garifuna man and not just being just another person floating. Um, I identify myself as a Garifuna living in Dangriga. I was born and raised in Dangriga. My childhood days were rich, such that um, we today, if you look around the yards in our neighborhood, it's different. Most of the yard they used to have sun, right? All the yards are sun because as children we go to the school, we go to Holy Ghost, front of Holy Ghost, we go back sun, put sun in a sack, put sun in a bucket, put sun in a wheelbarrow. It used to be a thing. We even have fun while mischievous fun while we're back sun. If you know, you know, right? um, yeah, I have a rich childhood. I'm the youngest of eight eight of us, and not eight. I'm sorry, 10. And sometimes I hesitate to say 10 because my mother is also a mother to many others as well. So I have others who I grew up with who we might not be biological family, but nobody would know that when they see us outdoors because my mother has taught us to welcome everyone to share everything that we have as much as we have. So Dangriga is where I was born and raised. Dangriga is where it started for me. Um, Holy Ghost Primary School, ecumenical high school. My journey going to ecumenical was a blessed one too. I recall back in those days, I started early on. I started a magazine, ecumenical SDAC magazine, where we would bring out a newsletter every week. And in that newsletter, there's a section in that newsletter where high school students would have the opportunity to send a request, right? You could send a request to a friend, you could send a request to a teacher, you could send a request to a secret admirer, but then the section end up the turn request for lone secret admirers, right? So we used to make a decent amount of revenues for that, for the school, for the classroom. I hope that if we have anybody from ecumenical listening, any teacher, that's something they could encourage their student to do or to pick up and continue because it's a great thing. The dissemination of information is important. So after high school, I decided that I didn't want to further my education, at least not yet at the time. I ventured into employment immediately. I went to work for Bishop O.P. Martin in Belize City, where I was placed at Holy Redeemer. I was doing accounting and other technical stuff, technical occupations. In addition to that, I had a part-time job doing technical repairs with one of my sisters. She used to own a computer business in Belize City. So I would get the opportunity to build, repair computers. I also had the opportunity to teach computers. I would teach introduction to computers, different applications, software, Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Adobe, PageMaker, all these popular programs that people used to use to get their jobs done. So I stayed in Belize City for quite a bit, working eventually. I ventured into self-employment. I decided to run my own show. It's something that, as Percy had mentioned, the word spread fast about Cyril Garcia at the time, where I offered computer service or services to individuals. I would go to their homes, fix their computers. Some would even hire me to teach them privately. They might not want to go to the institution, being in a classroom with everyone. It might be a business, a banker, a manager. Yeah, they want that more one-on-one training. So they would hire me to teach them computers. So that's what I did for a decent chunk of my life before I decided to immigrate to the United States of America. I believe in maybe somewhere around 2006. That's where I immigrated to Chicago. I moved to Chicago, and like every Belizean in the States, in the diaspora, who was not born in the States, which is most of us, I had to figure out how I was gonna make my bread. Um, that was difficult starting out because you had to depend on others. You know, you had to depend on family, you had to depend on friends, you had to swallow your pride a lot. Sometimes you want to do certain things, but you couldn't because magara that tip, you know, got papers, right? You know, got papeles. Eventually, when I became documented, I started different companies for myself. One of the main companies I started was called My Techie Friend. And with my techie friend, I would repair, just like what I did here in Belize, repair people's computers. I started from home, just from the living room, and then making one of the bedrooms an office. And it grew um, in that way. I pretty much put down hardware repair, and then I went into digital marketing, which is website development, SEO, search engine optimization, video marketing, and all that good stuff. Where I had a lot more time, it costs a whole lot more to provide that type of service or those services for people. So I no longer had to go drive to repair computers, go to individuals' places. I could stay home in front of my computer and just build websites, market websites for different businesses. I did that for quite a long time, actually. My techie friend became a thing. My clients, they fell in love with the name. Eventually, most of us who get into business for ourselves, we get to a point where we reach a threshold where it's no longer about the money, but where it becomes about our health, about family, about community, about wanting to do more. I recall being in the States, I would wake up every morning to catch the radio shows here in Belize, WB Morning Show, Love FM, and listen to what's happening in Belize from the States. And I find myself each time I listen, I get agitated, I get irritated, I can't do nothing at all the way that the States. So I used to feel helpless. I decided I'm going to pick up the phone and start calling to the radio shows. So back then, you know, have WhatsApp. It was the phone card. You buy the card, you scratch it, and your internet number, I see your face first. Yeah, I know you recognize, you realize what it is I'm referring to. Right. So I used to have my phone card ready every morning when I know I want call in. But the problem with that, you know, I always know when I want call in because it depends on the type of show and what is being said. Right. So at times I find myself, I don't got no phone card. So I just call directly and then I end up have a high bill at the end of the month. Um, I became fond of doing that. I got comfortable calling into the talk shows, expressing myself. And then I realized that the more I call in, the more irritated I become because more issues just pop up on the media stations. And again, there was nothing I could do. I could just talk and rant and complain. And that's where I came up with this idea. I decided that because, you know what? I go on these talk shows, I call in, but I feel like I'm not making no progress. I'm not making an impact. I decided to come up with a online magazine called Belize in America. A lot of people gravitated toward Belize in America. I interviewed so many individuals from, if we may say, for lack of a better word, from top to bottom. I interviewed the Honorable Said Musa. I spent time around Secretary of State Jesse White in Chicago. I was privileged. I was quite privileged to meet many an individual. Dr. Calville Young, we met in Florida, where um, an organization in Florida hosted him, where I actually worked closely with them as well. So that gave me the opportunity to meet so many people, not only meet people, but to learn about them, to interview them, just as you men are doing this morning, learning about so many people, learning more about our culture, about our heritage, about who we are. Now, Belize in America took off. People started enjoying it because of the interviews, because of the individuals I was interviewing. And this started in the States, and it was only in the States. I traveled New York, Florida, California, Chicago, you name the state, I was there. Eventually, I say, you know what? This thing, people might be interested in knowing what's happening home. I think that time if we go back home and get some fresh content, not only fresh content, but some faces that people in America might want to see. The people in Belize are seeing their fellow brothers and sisters in America. I think the Belizeans in America might
What
also
year
want to
was
see
that?
the same. Oh, this is definitely, I would say around 2012, when I started Belize in America. So I came back home and I started documenting not only people, but the cultural events, cultural performances back in the States, the major the biggest actually September celebration in Los Angeles. I used to market and cover that celebration as well by Joan Greenwood, Belize Cultural Foundation at that time. I helped to market the biggest September, not September, but celebration throughout America, Belizean celebration, which is Belize Day in the Park. I would market and promote that event yearly. I did that for 6 consecutive years, I believe. So when others see me, they associate me with the Belize Day event too. They started thinking that I was the one hosting that event, but I wasn't. It's the Belize Cultural Foundation. No. The Belize Day in the Park, Educational Day in the Park, that was responsible for that event. So after Belize in America went well, people started hearing about it, learning about it. I became the face of Belize in America, travel all across our beautiful country. Now, closing out on by my Belize in America chapter, when I came back home and started traveling to different places, Placencia, Hopkins, Corozal, Orange Walk, the Keys, San Pedro, Ranguana Key, Kikaka, many of these places, I would interact with my very own compatriots, my family, my friends, and I would tell them about these places, and I would find that I'm the only one who know about these places. So I felt a kind of way. I said, why? How come Venetians rate you so? Rate home? Can't jump in a boat and go relax at Kikaka or San Pedro or Ranguana Key or go to Placencia, go to these places right around us. And it bothered me so much. Now my life has always been that of self-development. I mentioned that after high school, I decided not to go to college, but I was an avid reader. Even up until this point, if I'm not reading a book or if I'm not trying to finish a book, I find myself like I'm out of place. So I've always believed in self-development. During the Belize in America era, I would have said at the tail of it, I started investing more into my health and wellness journey, into getting deeper into yoga practices, getting deeper into meditation, breathing techniques, moving
What
close
year?
to, I would say, 2017. I was still doing Belize in America, but I was getting more serious into my health. I sit in a 10-day meditation course in Kaufman, Texas, where when we arrive at that location, we're supposed to hand up every electronic, every book, any and everything that you have that you could be distracted by or with. So you enter the facility and you make a vow, you pledge and you make a vow of noble silence where you're not gonna talk for 10 days. You're not gonna talk, you're not gonna read, you do nothing but meditate, you eat, you sleep, you meditate, right? So I did that. And immediately thereafter, my mother, she was feeling in health. I decided to come back to Belize and spend a little bit more time. Usually I would spend 3 months, and then close to 6 months. Eventually, I say, you know what, this will work too well for me. Well, in the sense that Belize have fresh fruits, veggies, the fish, the air, everything just fresh. So for the quality of life that I've been living and I'm getting serious into, and my mother feeling in health, I say, you know what? I feel all right here. I feel at home. And I decided I'm just gonna stay. Now that created a challenge for me in a sense. I was exposed to a lot more that I didn't know. The way of doing business, communicating with individuals, working with my fellow men. I realized that the culture was challenging, and I could still say is challenging working with our own. Lost a lot of money. Um, we start to see a lot, as a lot start to unfold. It is then I became more active in, I would say I became an active citizen. I wasn't an activist per se. I was just Cyril Uruwei. I was just Cyril, the Belize in America guy. Actually, it's around that same time I started Obafo TV, Obafo Entertainment. And I have a little bit of nugget for you, Percy and Ivan, on your show. A lot of people don't know this, but I started Obafo Entertainment. I went to Belmopan. I was excited. I said, you know what? This name I have to keep. Obafo is sound good. I went to register it in Belmopan and they tell me, well, sir, we can't give you this name, Obafo Entertainment. Now I want to know why. I said, oh, no, can't just tell me, you can't give me this name. And I just fold my arms and walk out. So I pushed them to tell me why, and eventually they said, well, sir, this name belonged to Andy Palacio, Obafo Entertainment. I said, what? I have to hold on to this name now for real, for real. You know, really can't tell me no, because this happened for a reason. So I won't stretch out that story, but that happened. Started Obafo Entertainment. It is now Obafo Media and Marketing, which I have different businesses under Obafo. Um, so that's the journey when it comes to the personal and the business aspect of Cyril Uruwei, Obafo, Belize in America. Now, with that, I gained more access to different individuals. People learned a lot more about me. I lived in Belize City at the time. I decided to come back home to Dangriga because I wanted to do more. I wanted to live more. I wanted to see how my own people were living, the people who I grew up among. And I found out here in Dangriga, it's the entire country, but here in Dangriga, we have a certain mindset where it really shows the crab in a bucket mentality. I will fast forward to the day when the Prime Minister Briceño mentioned that anybody who wants to run against their standard bearer, now is the time. So I applied with the People's United Party to run up against Louis Zabane in a convention. My application, I would say, was rejected for reasons only the People's United Party know at that time. Now, I was already observing the way how the tongue was running, how the disadvantages taking place, the lack of representation, the way how common people are treated. So I was already being fueled with this type of energy to rally on behalf of my people. I've always been a human rights defender. I've always been one into self-development. So automatically, I took advantage of that opportunity when the Prime Minister put out that statement. I later learned that that statement was not genuine. It was insincere. It was done only for a reason, but I won't go into details on that matter at the moment. So I applied, my application was rejected. Fast forward, election time come, the general election came in 2025. That's where I took matters into my own hands. I said, Dangriga people are resilient people. We are independent people. So I will run against the brother independently. I will not run with the UDP. I will not run with the PUP. So I took on that giant and I put my name on the ballot and ran against Louis Zabane in the 2025 general elections. Since then, I've been holding those accountable, people call me show controversial because I call names, but I believe that we must all be held accountable. This is a platform where all of us will be held accountable. There are some things I might express here that I might not prepare myself for in the future. And somebody might come and say, you know what, Uruwei, you said this on Mr. Percy and Ivan show, but now you're this XYZ. So Dangriga Unmuted was born as a result of that. I've always been an advocate for truth. I've always created a platform or platforms for people to be informed, to disseminate information throughout all across Belize, the diaspora, all across the world. And that's what I continue to do, Percy and Ivan. Before I close off on this chapter, though, and let me know if my minutes, how I stand, Percy, because I
No,
know
you
you
are
said
free.
15 minutes.
No, you are unrestricted.
So going back to how I was raised in Dangriga, I want to mention it's imperative for me to mention that everything starts in Dangriga for me and everything ends in Dangriga. It's full circle. So I want to tie all this into being raised in Dangriga. I remember days, as mentioned, starting in the beginning, where we we go to the beach with Baksan, we got a farm with the parents, we go pull mango, we go chop our lots. We look out for neighbors. I remember my mother sending me to Mr. Lopez's house. Back then, Mr. Lopez was close to blind. I would have to go and take water to Mr. Lopez, go carry his mango, food. Remember Bishop Martin and Erica had to go and rake my elders' yard. If my elders, those who can't afford to do for themselves, be it with money or be it with their health, my mother would send us to go and take bread for them. We go and take bread and bun for Father Siebert, for the nurses, for so many people as a child growing up. So that's the type of person that I am. That's the guidance that I grew up under. It was always service before self. So naturally, growing up into this man that I am, pretty much my entire life is about service. Dangriga Unmuted today is about service, creating a platform for those who don't have a voice to speak, or for those who might not be heard in other areas, in other domains of our community. So, Lole Nigiro, that's where I leave it, Percy. That's where I leave it, Ivan. And thank you both again for this
Yeah,
opportunity to share about
yeah.
Cyril Uruwei.
Thanks. Very well,
Thank
very
you.
well.
Thank you very much. Thank you
It was
very much, Cyril.
clear, concise, and compelling. Uruwei, your brand, what you stand for, what your manifesto, is like. Because you crossed over into politics, you ran a general election against Sabani. Yes, you mentioned that you applied to the PUP and somehow it didn't happen. So you ran as an independent. So what does Uruwei stand for?
Good, very good question, Percy. Um, I believe my mother used to say to me, and as a matter of fact, this is part of how the name Obafo came about. She used to say to me, Mabafutib, but that wasn't an insult at the time. Any Garifuna person might automatically, when you hear Mabafutib, you don't have power, you don't have the strength, you don't have, you're not yet self-sustained. Mabafutib. So Mabafu is the negative of Obafo. Obafo means power. Obafo means strength. Obafo means you have what it takes to do X, Y, Z.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, independence is key. It is crucial that we become independent as a people.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most important thing, one of the greatest feeling any individual could possess or could experience is that of being independent. I say to some of our Belizean, our Belams, our Belizean American brothers and sisters when they come to States, and I do this a lot with some of I consciously do this. I actually just did this about a day or two ago with a family member that visited. We're used to when our family from the States come to Belize, we have our hands open, right? We have our hands open. Give me this, or what you're bringing for me. Or if they invite us, or if we go out to a establishment to eat or to have a drink, we fold our arms because we already know that it is our Belizean brother from the States that will take on the bill. We must learn to be independent. We must break that cycle. That's just one example. It might be trivial, but it's
Okay, but
important.
if we voted you and we don't vote for prime minister, but if you became a parliamentarian and the prime minister, are you saying your quest is to empower people so they are independent, so they become independent?
Absolutely, absolutely. For example, Dangriga, some might see this or find this to be far-fetched, but it is easier than we think. Dangriga could become an independent town. Dangriga is a rich town. Dangriga has a lot of resources unmanaged, or as a matter of fact, not unmanaged. That is not true. Exploited. Where a few experience most of the resources of Dangriga. If Dangriga could organize itself and find people who are serious, who really love this song, who really care for this song, we could become an independent tongue. Look at the Mennonites. The Mennonites, they are practically independent. They don't pay a lot of taxes, but look at their communities, clean. You go there and you feel like you're at a different part of Belize.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You feel like you're not at Belize no more. So yes, my intention is to empower others. Hence the reason for Dangriga Unmuted. We unmute truth, we demand
Okay.
change. Right?
Yes. Tell us a little more about, because you are a trainer, a yoga expert, lifestyle wise, but also it's more than physical, right? It's so obviously you are very disciplined and a person of integrity. Your integrity, speak to your integrity.
There is a verse in the Bible. There is this very popular common Bible story where God called Moses and said, save the people out of Egypt. We're going to take them out of bondage. I'm paraphrasing. And Moses said to the Most High God, who should I say send me? Who should I say send me? And the Most High's response was this: I am that I am. I am that I am.
Uh-huh.
So whatever I am, that's what I am. So
Yes,
you
yes.
talk about integrity. When I say something, it's because it is true. I'm not speculating. When I relay a story, if I tell you this is what I experienced with this individual, it is true. If I get in any disagreement or any confrontation with any individual, I always create the room, the opportunity to fix the problem,
Okay.
even if I might end up with the bitter end of the stick. So oftentimes we get in conflict or remain in conflict because of pride and ego. In yoga, in practice mindfulness, these practices taught me to not be as prideful as I could be in certain situations,
Okay. Okay.
because we learned that certain things could happen for a barrage of reasons. People do the things they do sometimes because of trauma, because of transgenerational trauma. I learned that I will not swallow a man's poison and expect him to die. So whatever I say, whatever I speak, whatever I testify on, I always make sure to the best of my knowledge that it is true. So if I speak on my integrity, that's the best way I could put it. I am
Okay.
that I am, right?
Okay.
So nothing that you do per se, if I ask you for something and you give it to me, I will let you know, not to give me this because I expect that I will speak good about
Yes.
you,
Yes.
Give me
Understood.
because it is coming from your heart. Because
Yes.
if you mess up in the future and it is affecting my people and my
Uh-huh.
community, you're gonna hear about it. I'm gonna call you out. And I have many situations like those.
Yeah. Co-host, after this
Yes.
question, you will tender yours. My last question for now, and I reserve the right to come back at you, but for now,
Of course.
you decided not to pursue further college education at a point. At a point, as far as I'm concerned, you strike me as a creator genius. Everybody has one, but not everyone activates it. So it's not something you get on paper. It's something you realize through hands-on life experience. I don't think you are matched with what you have accomplished at this juncture. I think I well, put that another way. You are unmatched with your accomplishments, without question.
Thank you.
You're beyond your years. There's only one other person, and we've done 2 dozen shows. I told her to Christy Castillo, Christy, that she's beyond her years. But you are way beyond, you are punching way above your weight class. And it's scary because you have no ceiling.
We shouldn't
Only
have
you
ceiling,
can
Percy.
only you can stop yourself. So I want you to tell the world and Belize what you are projecting for the future. Where are you going? What world are you envisioning, Bravo?
Certainly.
And Belize?
Um, sure. I my as a ever since for as long as I know myself, as a suckling, as a child, from before my head was at my mother's knees, I've always I know for as long as I could remember, I've always been in self-development. I started as an artist sketching. I got into computers. I used to build things with my hands. There are so many things that I use in the past. It's what I build. I always say, I told my wife not too long ago that once I get to the point of retirement where I feel like I don't have to work no more. I want to get some tools and build everything that I use. I'm going to build. I never mentioned that, but I also did construction in the States as well. Percy, I have to give credit to yoga and mindfulness. A lot of people, some ask me, how you do yoga and then still become a politician? I don't want to make that correction. I'm not a politician. All right. But practicing yoga and mindfulness has given me the right temperament, has been able to when I'm in the storm, when I'm in the like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, when you're in the fire, you know, get burned. It helps me to operate in spaces with a clear mind. All right.
Okay.
So to answer your question, my vision, my purpose, my aim, as mentioned earlier, I see myself as a servant, and I will forever be serving in any capacity that I can serve where it is beneficial to my people, to my
Yeah,
town.
yes, but see, let us hypothetically, you become the prime minister. How would
Mhm.
you change Belize?
First and foremost, we have to spend a lot more time educating our people. We talk about democracy, but I don't think half of the population knows what democracy means. All right. So I want to be able to help inform our people. We don't spend enough time informing each other. I can tell that this is one of the reasons that you and Ivan are here this morning, to inform, to educate.
Mm-hmm.
I look at, I did a study on the word information in the past, and I'll be very brief about this. If you dissect the word inform, you break it into syllables, inform. You're forming inwardly. You are shaping inwardly.
Yes.
So when you and I are sitting here, those who are listening to us at this very moment, we are shaping their minds inwardly. We are informing them.
Mm-hmm.
Hence the reason why I started media and I stayed in media, because I want to continue informing, shaping people inwardly.
Yeah.
That's what we need. We need to spend a lot more time in informing our people. The government
Oh,
has been doing a terrible job, PUP and UDP, informing the public. So if I become the prime minister, you could rest assured, just like how we will spend $5 million per campaign, so that we could get in to spend the money how we want to spend it, we're going to use a great deal of that money to inform the people. One more thing on that, Percy, before
go
you
ahead.
ask your
Yeah,
next
go ahead,
question.
bro. Uh-huh.
When COVID came, they spent thousands, millions of dollars on COVID, promoting vaccine for people to be vaccinated, forcing essential workers to take that vaccine, whether or not they wanted, they had to take it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to work. But they did a terrible job informing people as to what they can do to fight against COVID so that their bodies could have a stronger immune system, the things that they need to eat, spending more time in sunlight, eating your vitamins, eating your veggies, your fruits. But they
Yes.
did a terrible job at that, but they spent a whole lot of
Ye-
money spending time with Channel 7 and all the other media networks. I'm almost done. Giving them, forcing them to take this vaccine. So yes, that's what I would spend a lot of time on, Percy, informing the people.
Yeah, yes, but I see, I want you to clarify in the hearers' minds, because we can't eat words. So inform with a view to have people stand on their own feet, become independent.
Inform them with also with the tools for them to
Okay.
become independent, right?
Okay.
Inform them not only the tools, but with the resources that they have access to. We are at
Understood.
Dangriga. Ivan
All
know
right.
this. We are in Dangriga. We have a river running through the center of our town,
Uh-huh.
right? We have a long stretch of beach. You
Uh-huh.
go 20, 25 to 30 minutes, 40 minutes, you could reach many keys.
Uh-huh.
Tobacco Key. We
Yes,
have
sir.
Hopkins, we have waterfall, we have zip lining. We did
Uh-huh.
our location. Our people, the common man, they're not properly informed as to what they can do to capitalize on all the resources that we have. Only a
Yeah,
small handful of people are being informed. So only a small amount of people can benefit from from the resources that we have
yeah.
access to.
Co-host, put out your best two questions, and
Yes,
then
yes, yes.
after which our guest will do the closing his closing remarks.
You mentioned a very important thing, many challenges to doing business. And I think that's what you were discussing just now.
Yes.
Could you explain a little bit on, from your experience, what has been those challenges?
Ivan, a powerful question, and there are so many examples. But let me for example, let me see. We have this culture here in Belize. If an individual, a Belizean who went to the States, live abroad for a bit, and they come home and they see something or some things that need change, and we talk about it, our fellow men, brothers, sisters will come, oh, you think because you lived at the States, or oh, you think you better. We don't accept, we're not, we don't receive, we're not welcoming, we don't welcome change, we don't welcome correction, right? Um, Simple thing as you're late for a meeting. Some of us might not say, hey, I'm 15 minutes late. Hey, I'll be 5 minutes late. We just don't show up. We're not even say we'll be late, or we show up late, 30 minutes late, or we don't show up at all. And even when we don't show up, we need to say, hey, sorry, I couldn't make it. Could we postpone? That when I see you again, that then I have to ask you, what's going on? And that puts us, for example, you, both of you, Ivan and Percy, you prepared for me on this show, for this show. It is my responsibility to be punctual, to be early. All right?
And you
That's a
were.
Thank you. It is my responsibility to be punctual. Now, I could have may arrive late, then you will have to figure out how you are set up your. I don't know what all you had to go through to prepare for me, so I have to respect that. So that's just one way in that I see, Ivan. There are so many other ways in the system itself. There are so many things here in Dangriga that when we need, it's not easily accessible. You have to run to Belmopan or run to Belize City. And that has been for a very, very long time, you know. But you ask me directly in doing business with my fellow men. There are just so many the understanding, the way we communicate with each other, the patience, the accountability, the honesty, you know, being truthful. So you will find a lot of untruthfulness. You will find a lot of uncouth behavior, that sort of thing. So those were some of my challenges. I'm not sure if I answer your question
Yes, you
directly.
certainly, yeah, there's certainly a lot of opportunities out there. You spoke about it in terms of the position of where Dangriga sit, and people are not just catching or grabbing onto it and moving on and trying to do something about it in terms of being independent. Because, and my question is, yes, we have democracy, but how many of us understand it from the point of view that we first and foremost should be independent, right? Rather than you understand, many people are
Hmm.
just following instead of leading,
Right.
or playing their active role in the system. The
Hmm.
system now has changed, you have to change it.
Yep.
And you spoke about the myriads of situations in the democratic system. So just explain a bit more on that.
Certainly. Um, we are a democratic nation, so we say. So we say we're a democratic nation. That simply means that we, each person should have the opportunity to rise to their highest potential.
Yes.
If you are home today and if you feel stuck, something is wrong with our environment,
True.
right? Our environment tells us how we behave. If you're in a toxic relationship, you going out there and you might be toxic towards somebody else. Okay, so our environment dictates how we behave among ourselves. Belize is a democratic nation, but we don't take advantage of that democracy. We are too dependent. And that's because we are trained to be dependent. Just like how we were trained to be dependent, we can untrain ourselves, right?
Correct.
That has to be
I
a
agree.
radical way of thinking. Now, personally for me, I've never submitted to the status quo. I've never submitted to where the majority is going, not because everybody that do it mean it right or means that it is the best way. If
Yes.
I could say so for myself, I has risen to this point, not because of anybody, not because of UDP, not because of PUP. I came home, I realized that there are certain things that I want, there are certain things I want to accomplish, and I already know it is impossible. I want to say this for the record. It has been, I have had the opportunity, and I probably still do, to sign up with the United Democratic Party. I tried it once with the People's United Party. I was disrespected, and that was revealed to me that the system is flawed. We look at Jerry Enriquez going to court, taking the government to court. Taking the government to court for what? They are fighting Jerry for doing what is beneficial to the people. Imagine the government of Belize spending money to fight against what is beneficial to the people. That is absurd. That is sick, if you ask me.
Okay.
So,
co-host,
Yes.
give me a moment. Co-host,
Yes, sure.
allow me. Allow me to ask you this. The commonality among Jerry's brand, your brand, and the brand of this show is, I'm asking if you agree, integrity. Jerry brand transcends Garifuna, a particular ethnic group. Jerry is fighting national. You transcend politics. Red, blue, you run independent. So you are saying you are Belize brand, if anything, or international brand. Jerry is saying the same thing. I am saying the same thing. We are on the show that certain things are to transcend. Politics are to transcend. Religion are to transcend. So I am not religious. I am spiritual. Because I associate, I don't identify, I don't carry ID badges. I associate without getting entangled. Your response to that?
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing, Percy. That defines exactly what it is that I'm saying, independence. And while we're at it, they say give a man his flowers before he dead. I have to appreciate you that personally, Percy, because as mentioned behind the scenes, before we came live, we were sharing how we had a disagreement on one of my shows. I don't remember which one, but I do remember the disagreement. And I expressed myself bluntly. Everybody who knows me, they know I don't mince words. And you reached out to me despite I don't think it was, we weren't hostile, but we were direct, right? We were direct toward each other. And this is the type of mentality, this is the type of behavior we need to exercise, we need to practice one toward another. Whereby, no matter how vehement we disagree with each other, we should still create the opportunity for us to listen to each other. So this is important. And this is what my life, what my brand is surrounded by: integrity, independence. I say it doesn't matter who are for me, whatever. I don't think nobody could muzzle me. Nobody could pacify me with material things, with material wealth, or anything to not to say the truth. My grave will turn, and that might probably be my last breath, because I will be stifled.
Co-host,
Yes, yes.
ask your last one.
Yeah.
You'll answer, and then you give your closing. After which, our guest will give his final remarks.
Yeah. You spoke about democracy, you spoke about Enriquez, and so on and so on. And you mentioned something very important, that he's fighting against the government for a right that people have under Section 3 of the Constitution. We all have equal rights, and also right to vote, and as best as possible, equal representation. Okay, so can you talk a little bit about that in terms of the disparity that you see today, particularly in the South, in terms of not having equal rights to vote and by extent equal representation?
Certainly. You know, I share this on my show quite often, and that's something I'll continue to share. Stan Creek West, Rodwell Ferguson, has over 11,000 electorates. Dangriga and Orange Walk Central, I believe, Johnny Bresenio's constituency, we are in the same bracket, so to speak. We have over 6,000 electorates.
Frozen for a minute, but he's going to be okay.
Are you guys with me? Am
Yes,
I on?
Yes.
Right. So
Yeah.
Dangriga,
you're freezing a little, but go ahead.
Dangriga and Johnny Bresenio's constituency, we are in the same bracket, which means that we should receive the same amount of money from central government to disperse to our people. Louis Zabane is supposed to get what Johnny Bresenio is getting. However, now, Dangriga is getting $15,000 for Louis Zabane is getting $15,000 for his constituency every month. Johnny Bresenio, Stan Creek West, let's go to Rodwell Ferguson first, is getting $20,000. Rodwell Ferguson has over 11,000 electorates. You go to Johnny Bresenio's constituency, he's getting, according to what they release, because that's not all the money they get. He's getting, allegedly speaking, that's not where they get. Per paper, he's getting 25,000. That's 5,000 more than Rodwell, who has 11,000 registered voters in his constituency. Johnny Bresenio only have over 6,000. Dangriga to get 15,000. That's $10,000 more than what Dangriga to get. You know what that means, Percy and Ivan? That means that the people, Orange Walk voters, worth more than Dangriga voters.
Whoopa.
So every resident will live the Orange Walk, they're worth more than me.
Yeah.
As an individual. That's a fact.
Wow.
So we as a people, all right, and the only way we could get better, we just have to say we done, you know. That's how we have to say. But like Ashcroft said, the electorates are as corrupt, the voters are as corrupt as the politician. So
are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to, because you are courting these people?
Am I sure what?
You are courting the electorate in Dangriga. You are courting. Well,
no. That's the thing. Well, that's the thing, Percy. You asked me about integrity. You asked me about bluntness. That is the truth. That is the truth. No, the voters are as corrupt. I experience this. No, I have absolutely no problem talking about this. I tell you this. Listen, let me share this with you, Percy. There's a brother who I see from time to time, right? I'll give you the Reader's Digest of this story. 3 occasions this brother met me. He said, Uruwei, make I get this, man, blah, 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 blah. I said, here, I would go on. Tell me where you want, tell me where I need, where I take for make me get you where you want. He said, I need this, blah, 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 blah. Second time, the man meet me. I said, okay, I need you to go over there, tell them people, Uruwei send you, it done ready, they will take care of you. Meet out day 2, day 3, the man not gone yet. Eventually, he went there at the wrong time. So he couldn't get done what he was supposed to get done the day when I
Yes.
tell him for me gone there. So check this now. Third time the man meet me, the man said, Roy, this is strike 3, you know. Strike 3.
Ah,
In other words, I am obligated to give to this person. So people expect me, I say to people all the time, I need you to understand, I am doing this for you, not because I want you to vote for me. You have the option, the choice to vote for whosoever you want to vote for.
right,
If you
right.
think, if I would ever put my name on the ballot in the future, and you believe I am the right person for the job, I would appreciate your vote. However, if you believe the next man is the better person, then that's exactly what I want you to do. But don't ever come to me thinking that I am doing for you because
Yes.
I want you to vote for me. I am doing for you because you need help now.
It is true. Co-host, we try
Yeah.
opposing argument, but
Well,
it is
I
true
just, I
that
just,
we
I just wanted to ask Yuri, how do we change that appetite and entitlement of people? Because what you said just now is the truth, and I like, being truthful about what is happening in this country. But there seems to be an entitlement and an appetite for a certain system that is affecting all of us. I experience it too,
Mhm.
right? Because I run in San Creek West. So
Okay.
yeah, but yeah, how do we manage that? How can we manage this appetite and this entitlement? You just spoke about it just now.
briefly.
Yeah, you spoke about it just now. That
Yeah,
people
and
have.
we have to continue doing our part. You are doing, Ivan, you and Percy are doing exactly what we need to do. For me, with Dangriga unmuted, we have to disseminate the truth. We have to keep talking. It's not going to change overnight. Our people need to be informed. I walk the street and I meet brothers, our own fellow brothers. Man, Uruwei, keep doing what you do. But I ask them, and then some of them tell me, boy, you are a runner or what? I say, if I run, you are back me. The challenge that I the
Yes,
challenge that I
yes.
give them, the challenge that I give them, I say, all right, you they ask me for go run. See, people don't understand. Well, I think they do, but they don't keep it into consideration. That when you put your name on the ballot, there's a lot at stake. You put yourself out there to be criticized. You put yourself out there for people to go and zoom into your family life, all your past, your history. You
Yes.
you put your take out money out of your own pocket. Who the support our independent candidate today?
Yeah.
Who want to pump
Yeah.
money into an independent candidate? Everybody think that it know the work, but you know why it
Okay.
doesn't work? Because everybody think you know the work. The minute we switch that thinking and decide that it is important for Dangriga or for any constituency to stand up for that constituency, let Dangriga vote for Dangriga.
Okay.
We need to
Before you
start
give
thinking
your
independently.
Thank you. Thank you.
before
Thank you.
you're right, you give your closing remarks. My take is that we have to chip away at the entitlement mentality from the problem solving side by doing what Jesus did with the loaves and fishes. Feed them so they don't have a vacuum, a problem that can be exploited by tricksters and politicians. Because their heart is willing, but their flesh is weak. So we have to say, okay, I understand that you can be bribed. You can be given incentives for your votes. But you want to vote for me. So I will give you 10% of what you may need today, just out of good faith. So to encourage you to stay on the right path. This entitlement mentality will not be resolved overnight. I am glad you called it out, because the one side got two sides. It's not just the politician offering, it's the people that are encouraging it. Today we have down to Mother's Day chair. We have back to school. We have Easter, Christmas ham and turkey. We have all these things, and it's only growing because you can't take them back. Your final remarks.
That is, man, you couldn't have said it better, Percy. The entitlement mentality is a cancer. It's poisonous. It's crippling us from the marrow. It is a devastating thing. I remember not too long ago, during the week or days before Christmas, Western Union, there was a long line. And please, this is important. Whosoever is out there listening and whosoever will listen to this. There was a long line at Western Union. And someone on Facebook posted, I don't know who it is. I completely didn't pay attention to who, but what was said. Because I always pay attention to what was said instead of who is saying it. They said, man, we need another Western Union. We need another Western Union. And I said to myself, this person is asking for another Western Union because the Western Union line long. One of my mentors have said to me, you know what, Uruwei, a lot of these things are happening. The poverty-stricken mentality, the entitlement mentality here in Dangriga started when most of our loved ones, I believe after Hurricane Hattie, they immigrated to the United States. And then more of them started sending money home, sending clothes and things that we need. Most of us were raised by our grandparents because our mothers, they went to live in the United States in search of a better life.
Yes.
But we need to understand that they left because they wanted a better life. But we made an error. We flagged. We stuck to that mentality where we got used to them sending us Western Union and sending clothes. And if that is sufficient for us to live by and depend on, then we fold with arms for the most of the rest of the time. And we not do extra. We not do more than we can because we're quite satisfied. Now, that irritated me so much when that person suggested that they erect another Western Union or open another Western Union office just because everybody can't get the money in time. No, we need to start thinking about ways how we could employ our brothers and sisters. There's a lot here to do.
Yes.
I work from online. Wherever there's a computer and internet, my business could be anywhere. I could be at China, I could be at India, I could be in the United States, I could be in Belize. Some people say, oh, Cyril Uruwei no work. Who told them that?
Yeah.
That's ignorance.
Yes.
That's pure ignorance. And anybody who say that should be ashamed of themselves and they're not fit to open their mouth in public.
They need help.
You know, once you...
Co-host, you have the last word.
Well, I want to thank you, Uruwei, for coming on the show and touching on a number of important issues today. And that is the purpose of this show, to get people to start thinking, transforming, if you like, to see how they can become the best version of themselves. Because as Percy usually say, you person, the individual, have to make that change. And so, my brother, I want to thank you. A number of issues, and we could continue to discuss the myriad of problems that are challenging us, but it is for the people to decide, and it's for us to continue to bring it across. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ivan.
Sir,
You're welcome.
Sir,
my brother Percy, thank you. Is this the end, or do I have a closing remark?
Well, you can give it a quick one, Azinga.
Well, I thank you both. I appreciate the opportunity to share who I am, what I'm about on your platform. I want to encourage both of you. I hope that keep this up. I hope that this doesn't stop, because we need this. We need this here in Belize. We need more people teaching us about, not only teaching us, but showing us a mirror of ourselves, of our environment, how we are living. And I want to encourage each and every one of you listening, speak truth, follow your conscience. We know what we do every 5 years or every 3 years, municipal election. We know the choices that we make. And we are now in 2026. We need to start choosing ourselves. Stop being selfish, because when we be selfish, we empower just a few and we keep the tongue dilapidated. We are preparing the future for our children. How easy or how hard are we going to make it for them? Thank you both for this opportunity. Bandi Serme.
Warm regards to all.